Okay guys, so now that you have your needle threaded with the correct color of thread and knotted, I'm going to show you, this is for Star Wars, I'm going to show you how to do the back stitch. So you're going to start at the back of just one piece of felt, one piece of Darth Vader felt. My needle is in the back of it, and I'm going to poke it through. I'm going to start at a corner, one corner or another is fine. Poke my needle through the very end of the line. I'm going to pull it out. Backstitch is exactly like it sounds, but it starts off like a regular stitch. You need to make a first regular stitch. So now my needle and my thread are on the top layer, or on top of Darth Vader's face, and I'm going to go back down through on the line. And you might want to go maybe like 1/4 of an inch away, like maybe make your stitches about 1/4 of an inch. The important thing is with sewing is that you keep your stitches consistent in length and consistent in distance, and then also of course that you are keeping them on the line. Now I have a stitch done. This is my anchor stitch, my starter stitch. Now we're going to be ready to actually begin to back stitch. So here's how we do this. And the idea behind this is to create a nice fluid line of thread so it looks like a drawing rather than a bunch of little stitches. I'm going to poke my needle through from behind, but I'm going to poke it through about 1/4 of an inch away from my last stitch. So there's going to be a blank space. You see that blank space there? Here's the needle. Here's my last stitch. There's a blank space there. I'm going to poke it through and pull it out. I've left a space about the same length as the stitch that I want. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to go backwards and fill that in by poking the needle through very close to, as close as I can, to the end of the last stitch. As close as I can to the end of the last stitch. And see what I've done? It's created a bit of a line. You can still see a little bit of a gap between the two stitches, but that's probably just reality, unfortunately. And so again, I'm gonna poke from the back. And it's kind of hard to see the needle, I know, but I'm poking from the back on the line. There's my needle right here. And again, I'm leaving a space the length that I want my stitch to be. Okay, I'm pulling it out. And then I'm going backwards as close as I can to the previous stitch. Right? You're going to keep going all the way around Darth Vader's face, around his nose, up around his eyes. Doesn't matter really what order you go in, just keep going in a line, and then poke up from the back wherever you need to start the next feature. When you're ready to tie a knot, you're going to go to the back and you're going to insert your needle underneath the most recent stitch. Insert the needle underneath the most recent stitch. You're creating a loop here, a loop with your thread, and you're going to pull. Okay, pull a little bit. See how I have a loop? I'm not going to pull all the way though. I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to push. I'm going to run my needle through that loop. Run my needle and thread through the loop. I'm going to pull all the way. All the way. And then that creates a knot. Now what I'll do is I'll take my scissors and I'll cut nice and close to the knot. Okay? And now the back stitch is secure.